Hi YouTube, it's Marcia. I just wanted to do a quick video and update you on how my IC is going and my celiac disease and where I'm at now. It's been a while since I've done a video in regards to this. The reason why I haven't done a video is because I've had the worst time adjusting to living with IC. I've really struggled with anxiety and depression and just feeling stressed out and anxious over the fact that I have a disease that there's no cure for. And it hurts. You know, I have to go to the bathroom at least 40 times a day. And I wake up every night at least 10 to 16 times to use the restroom. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult. I am currently in a flare. I'm home right now on the couch, trying to relax and calm myself. I'm here with Charlie. Say hi, Charlie. This is Charlie. He keeps me company. He helps me feel better. He really does. I got him about 5 months after my diagnosis, and I don't know. He just helps kind of make me happy. He brings me joy. He does. He brings me joy. Anyways, I am currently in a flare, so I'm uncomfortable, but it's manageable. I wanted to talk about anxiety and depression. Boy, oh boy, have I had serious depression and anxiety. I got diagnosed in January of 2016 with interstitial cystitis. I had a cystoscopy, and that's how I got my diagnosis. I was sick with serious pain for like 2 years before I got my diagnosis. 2 years. And when the doctor finally did put a name on my disease, and I was able to finally be at peace because I knew what was wrong with me. At first, it was such a great feeling to know that I knew what was going on with my body. But a couple months after my diagnosis, I fell into a really deep depression, and I started getting terrible, terrible anxiety. And I think it all came from knowing that there's no cure for IC. There's no cure for this. There's nothing that they can give me, the doctors. There's nothing the doctors can give me to take away this pain. And that's a scary thought because IC really does hurt. You have a lot of vaginal pressure. Burning pains. A fullness always down there, like you feel full, like something's gonna fall out. Literally, I know it's TMI, but you know, and then the feeling of having to go to the restroom, going potty, and then right as you feel like you can get up, you have to go again. So it's like a terrible feeling. I stopped eating because I found out about the IC diet, and I was scared to put anything in my body because I knew that whatever I was putting into my body was going to directly affect my bladder. And so I ate honeydew. That's all I ate was honeydew. Like maybe 10 pieces, like 10 bites of honeydew a day for like 3 months. And I lost like 30 pounds. And I spiraled out of control in my depression and my anxiety. Like I honestly was so distraught over the idea of always being sick, always feeling like this, and knowing it's never going to go away. You know, and I was scared and I was in pain. And I just kind of submitted to that. I didn't really fight for my own well-being. I just kind of gave in to the fact that I was always going to be sick and there was nothing that anybody could do for me, so I just wanted to die. to be honest. Like, it hurts that bad sometimes that it's just a miserable feeling. If you have IC, you know what I'm talking about. You know, I had a very difficult childhood. And I don't want to get into that too much right now because that will, you know, trigger my anxiety. But I've been dealing with my past a lot and kind of wallowing in my own yucky stuff. Meaning like my past and being sick and not having enough willpower to kind of pull myself out of it. Well, all that has changed. I just decided one day that I was going to meditate. And so I looked up a meditation on YouTube and I found somebody named Michael Seeley. And I meditated. It was a guided meditation. I went into my backyard and laid down underneath the avocado tree and started meditating. And it had such a profound impact on me. I was able to literally, my mind was able to leave my physical body and go somewhere else. And it was such a great relief from the pain. Oh, it was such a relief. I don't have the words to describe how wonderful it felt to be away from my body and the pain I was experiencing and the anxiety that I was going through and the depression and the sadness and the fear and the pain. And, you know, my past childhood experiences were feeling so real physically. Like I was feeling pressure in places. In my private area, I was having I was in a flare, constantly in a flare. And so I was having these physical symptoms. But not only that, but all of my anxiety from my past childhood experiences, I was having like emotional, physical manifestations of trauma. And all of that went away when I started meditating. Like it all went away. And I couldn't believe it. And I became like a meditation junkie. Like I started meditating all the time. And, you know, I was in a really bad place. I was going to the emergency room like twice a week for anxiety and pain. And I really was struggling with the will to survive. Like I didn't want to die. Like I didn't want to kill myself. But I wanted to escape from my pain and from my mind and all the terrible things that I was feeling. But I knew that I didn't want to really hurt myself. I didn't want to do that to my children, to my husband, to my family. So I decided to fight. I decided to fight for myself. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did. Here I am, you know, 6 months later after starting to meditate, and I feel like I have a new outlook on life. You know, life is about change, and everybody's going to get sick and everybody's going to die, and something is going to happen to us. We're going to have a medical problem at some point in our life. And we can't avoid that. Like, you can't avoid that. There's no control over that. All you can control is how you respond to being sick. You can't wallow in your sickness. And you can't obsess over it. You have to keep pushing forward. Even if that means just opening up the curtains and letting... Sorry, my dog's... He's scratching himself on my lap. You know, you can't wallow in your illness. You have to take control of your life. You know, you have to, because if you don't, you're just going to make yourself miserable and everybody around you is going to be miserable. And, you know, I have kids. And I know that them seeing me sick was having a seriously negative impact on them because of the way I was coping with it. It's just the way that I was coping with it. I was crying, I was tossing and turning and thrashing, saying things like, why did this have to happen to me? I just want to die. I can't live like this anymore. And I don't want my children to have bad coping mechanisms. I want them to be able to cope with stress and anxiety and illness, So I have to set an example for them. I have to set an example on how you have to keep living a positive lifestyle even though you're sick. Like I said, doing little things like opening up the curtains, maybe sitting in your backyard or your front yard, listening to the birds sing, or getting some flowers and bringing them inside so you can, have something that smells good, something that's pretty to look at. It's the little tiny things like that that you can do for yourself that will make a huge difference. I know that I see... Careful, Charlie. I know that IC is a disease that has no cure. And that's the scary part, because when you have pain and you're in a flare and you're going to the bathroom like 10 times in an hour, it can be really stressful and really frustrating, and you just want it to go away. You just want it to stop. And it won't stop. So I think it's important for people to hear that even though you have IC, like, your life has to go on. You have to continue to be a positive person, as hard as that might be. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people around you. Just don't give up. Don't give up. It's easy to give up, I think. I think it's even harder to make an effort and to keep pushing forward. I went back to school, so I'm doing that. That makes me feel good about myself. I get up every morning and I get my kids ready for school, and I pack lunches, and I try to